Good morning, everyone, again. Just realised that the light is still on again. I'm hoping that this is working. I've just tried it out and I think it is. So welcome to the study this Maundy Thursday morning, as the slight mist across the road here from where I am, slightly misty. It's an ethereal looking day. It looks the day it should be, as we come to mark that day when Jesus, at the end of it, spent time with his disciples, his followers, sharing the Passover meal that night before he died, the Last Supper. And tonight we're going to mark that with an agape meal. And I just want to talk about that to start with, just to say how we're doing it and marking it online this year. To start with, we're going to use the Zoom platform, meeting platform, to try and see whether we can put together how it works, putting together a meal of people sharing together on video. So from 6:15 tonight, we're going to share a meal together. You need to bring your own food to that, obviously, because we can't bring it to you. So if you want to have your meal ready to eat together as a family or as yourself, if you're by yourself, but we'll all be eating together in that way. So basically, we're just sharing the meal together. Nothing about it liturgical in any way. It's just sharing the meal together between 6:15 and just before 7 o'clock tonight. Now, if you want to join that Zoom meeting, then you'll need to be invited to it by me, because I'll be setting up the meeting or together. And to do that, I need to have your permission to do that. So if you can just let me know that you'd like to be a part of that. I already have a few people who've let me know that they want to be a part of it. I'll be setting up the meeting. It's sort of later on this afternoon, around about 4 or 5 o'clock. So if you can let me know before then that you want to join that meeting, then do so. That meal, rather, then do so. You need to either ring me on my landline, which is 01708 707 234, and if I'm out on my exercise or anything at the time, then just leave a message on the landline. Or if you can email me on my work email, the parish email address, which is vicar@jamesandjohn.org.uk. Don't use my other email that I used to use, the Gmail email that you might have for me. Use the vicar@jamesandjohn.org.uk. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing first off. And then later we'll be sharing I will be doing a simple communion here from the house on Facebook Live. Just to talk a little bit about this issue about communion and doing communion on social media or over social media. The way it stands at the moment, as far as the Church of England is concerned, is that the theological understanding of communion is that people need to be gathered together physically in the same place if they're joining together in a communion. So we can't technically do a communion where everybody dispersed around is joining in that communion. However, if you have bread and wine there and want to join in, then you are joining in a fellowship way. Technically, it's not a communion. The communion is happening in the vicarage, if you like, where I'm celebrating and consecrating the bread and wine here. But we are joining all together, in a sense, in that way. And just thinking about that as well, we're thinking about coming up to Easter Day, because we're going to celebrate two communions. We're going to do two communions on Easter Day, actually, because I thought it would be great just to do a sunrise communion for you. So sunrise in Romford this coming Easter Day is at 6:09 a.m. So from 6 o'clock on Sunday morning, this coming Sunday morning, we'll do a short, simple communion service for the sunrise as we greet the dawn of the day of resurrection, as Jesus rises to that new life, that new hope that we all have in him, that eternal life that he brings. So that's going to be a short communion then at 6 o'clock in the morning. If you're up and early like that, then do join me. We'll be doing it from outside in our garden if the weather permits. And then at 10 o'clock, we'll have our usual 10 o'clock service, hopefully to be an all-age type service. and we'll be doing that in a different way, because we're going to try and do it excuse me, across the two homes. So from the curates, from Alan and Sarah's house, and here from the vicarage, from me, Emma and Martha together. So to start with, the service will start with some input from Alan and Sarah. So at 10 o'clock, live from Alan and Sarah's house. He will lead us up to that point in the service where we do the peace. So Alan will lead us into the peace. And when the piece comes along, it'd be great if people who are online might be able to say, send a message like you can. I can see messages coming up here at the moment. There's people up at this time in the morning messaging me. That's great. But if you want to send a message of peace to everybody during that time, that's great, because at that point Alan will come off Facebook Live, and we'll start up Facebook Live here from the vicarage to do the actual communion, and to do a little bit before the communion as well. So that's what's going to happen. Just to say as well, I will post out later as well. There'll be a couple of songs that we use tonight during the little communion part of it at 7 o'clock. So I'm going to send those out. I've had people complaining, rightly so, that we haven't been letting you know that what the hymns are, so that you can be prepared with the words ready to join in with the hymns as we sing. So I'll let you know what they are. I've forgotten what they are off the top of my head, but I'll make sure that we've... No, I know what they are now. For it to come back to my head. The two songs that we'll be singing are As We Are Gathered, and I think the second one is Meekness and Majesty. So I'll make sure that we, if you can, make sure you've got the words for those to sing along with us tonight. So As We Are Gathered and Meekness and Majesty. Okay. What else to say? Well, I think that's it. Just to go through what's going to go ahead for the rest of this time through Holy Week and up to Easter Day. We've talked about the communions or the services that will be happening tonight and on Easter Day. We're continuing with those meditations that we're using from the No Ordinary Person resource, or No Ordinary Man, is what it's called, resource, by Nick Fawcett, and published by Kevin Mayhew, who have kindly allowed us permission to use it in the way that we are. It's been really